Hello everyone, my name is Phil Chambers and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Wrestling News. I'm on my own today and there's a lot to get to, so I'll just get to it. But first, please do remember to subscribe by pressing the button down below, and if you want to skip to any particular story, the links are in the description below with timecode and everything. So, first up, the WWE Stock. We've got a bit of an update after the departures of George Barrios and Michelle Wilson on Thursday. The stock has gone down 28% so far, which is the biggest decline in nearly 6 years and the lowest point that they've hit since May 2018. Now, George and Michelle were ousted, citing different views on how best to achieve our strategic priorities moving forwards. A lot of stock analysts, people have chimed up on this since. Bloomberg have noted that more than $1 billion in market value was lost with the stock drop on Friday, and it's the biggest decline in almost 6 years. $1 billion. That's just an insane amount of money to lose in one day. A bunch of stock analysts have all downgraded the WWE stock, and I've got some quotes from some of them on sort of speculations as to what might be happening. So what have we got? CNN Business have noted that analysts at Morgan Stanley, Loop Capital and Evercore ISI have all lowered their price targets on the WWE stock. Business analyst at Lightshed Partners, Brandon Ross, said that television ratings have crumbled while engagement metrics across the company's other business units have followed. Fans have continuously complained about the quality of the company's content, and content needs to improve if the company is going to be investable, and no matter who comes in to take the place of the former presidents, the burden of improving the content sits squarely on Vince McMahon, who has held tight control over the creative WWE for decades. Other people, Alan Gold of Loop has said he's got diminished confidence in the estimates due to the sudden stock change. He speculated that Vince was not pleased with the results of the international TV deals. Citigroup analyst Jason Bazinet said that he believes that Barrios and Wilson may have wanted to gradually reinvest incremental US media rights revenues, while Mr. McMahon may want to make more aggressive investments. It's not a good sign for the stock at the minute. Obviously things will settle out, and then as soon as they announce new people, it'll probably start to go back up again. But at the minute, this is not looking good. $1 billion they've lost. PW Insider, we're talking to a few WWE employees, and they'd say that basically, obviously they all want to remain anonymous, but like everybody else, they were just as shocked at the news as anyone else was. They were saying things like, if there was something specific that led to the departures, it has been kept extremely quiet and wasn't something that was being talked about at WWE HQ. It leads on to speculation that something happened that led to an imminent blow-up and the departure, because the announcement wasn't held off till the weekends, which is when companies normally release their bad news, in the hopes that it's kind of forgotten about by the next week. Other employees have said that things just kind of ground to a halt within the company when the announcements were made, as everyone was just so shocked by the news. Someone else has said that it was the most shocking day since the horrible day in 2007 when WWE fired 10% of its workforce. So, this has definitely sent shockwaves through WWE. Now, WWE is scheduled to release their full 2019 earnings report on Thursday, and we'll obviously have all the news from that when we get it. But George Barrios and Michelle Wilson were normally a huge part of these conference calls. So there's no word yet on whether Triple H or maybe Stephanie is going to step up and take that place. Who knows? It's all kind of up in the air as to what exactly this what happened and what went down and why this has happened, why they've ousted them so suddenly. There's obviously going to be loads of corporate non-disclosures, so we're not going to find out probably for quite a long time the exact specifics of it. But it is said that George and Michelle will probably get 7-figure severance packages out of this, so I guess they'll be not too displeased. Anyway, there's obviously a lot to unpack with all of this, but it's still speculation, so anything that happens will obviously keep you up to date as and when we find out more. But Revival have been asking for their release again. They first asked for their release back in January of 2019, and they obviously weren't granted it then. In May 2019, they got offered 5-year contracts that were worth $500,000 a year. They turned those down. Obviously, WWE are getting a little bit lighter on actually letting people out of their contracts now. They let go of Luke Harper and Sin Cara, but the Revival have kind of been holding on to. I don't know why. I guess they realize that they might make quite a big splash if they go to AEW. And they don't really want that to happen. But it has been reported by Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer that they have been asking for their release yet again recently this month. They've not been granted it yet, quite obviously. Apparently they've also been offered a contract that is worth more than the $700,000 a year that the club are currently getting. So these contract offers, they keep coming and they keep on getting bigger and bigger, but the Revival, they just want out. They are tired of this. They're trying to get trademarks for their name and things like that. They want out. It's just the end for them, isn't it? Their contract, Scott Dawson's contract, is up in April this year, and Dash Wilder, they had to add 10 weeks on due to his injury, so his is due for June. But it looks like, yeah, they're not going to be re-signing, are they? They are not happy with this. They're not happy with how they've been used. They're not happy with their creative, and they just want out. And let's face it, they're going to do really, really well as soon as they get out of WWE. Next up, Ronda Rousey was on the WWE podcast After the Bell with Corey Graves. He was interviewing her about many things. She was really putting over NXT, saying that she's obsessed with the brand. But the most interesting thing to come out of it is her talking about her return and when it could possibly be. She revealed how she would book it if she could. And if you think it's going to be some grand return on like a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania or any pay-per-view at all, or even any TV show, you'd be wrong, because she wants to come back completely unannounced on some house shows to get a bit of buzz surrounding her return, and then come back that way, which is an interesting way of doing it, but let's face it, WWE are never going to go for that. They want to advertise the hell out of Ronda Rousey on TV, on pay-per-view, to make some actual money out of it, not just chuck her on some house shows completely unannounced. It is an interesting way of doing it though. Let me know in the comments below how you would book Ronda Rousey's return. She also went on to say, Corey asked her when the return could be, and she said, well, if they let me come back on house shows, probably very soon. So who the hell knows? No word yet on any of this. It's all just speculation. It's just Ronda chatting to Corey on a podcast. But who knows? I'm definitely excited for her to come back at some point. There's some amazing matches that we can get out of her, and she's definitely got another good run in her. But let's see how that goes down. Speaking of MMA wrestler people, Cain Velasquez was chatting to media before the Royal Rumble, telling them that he thought he was going to be involved in the event. Now, Dave Meltzer was reporting on this, saying that Cain truly believed that that was what was going to happen. He was going to come back at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, plans may have either changed at last minute or this was sort of a misunderstanding, who knows. But it looks like in the lead up to the Rumble, Cain Velasquez truly thought he was coming back on that show. Whether this means that he is coming back for a WrestleMania or even maybe Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia, who knows? Whether this is a weird way of WWE treating him means to keep him keen, who knows? Or whether it is just a genuine misunderstanding, which is probably more logical, but I mean, it's WWE at the end of the day, isn't it? So who the hell knows? Finally, I just want to end on a little thing I found on Reddit Squared Circle later, which I thought was a very interesting little fact. It's by Reddit user Cesaro Salad, so thanks for that. But he's noted, I've adjusted this for last night's match, but of the last 41 Baron Corbin matches, 33 of them were in some form against Roman Reigns. That's just mental. Apparently he's lost 30 of them, including the one he lost last night, with the amazing stipulation of the loser eats dog food. SmackDown, yay. I really hope this is the end of that feud. It seems like a bit of a payoff and then they can just move on from here. Please, just move on. 33 of his last 41 matches have been against Roman Reigns. That's just mad. That's stupid. No more. Please, no more. And that is all the news for today. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Phil Chambers. You can follow me on Twitter at PhilMyChambers. You can follow all of us at WhatCulture at WhatCultureWWE. Please do remember to click the subscribe button. Comment down below what you think of any of today's stories. Let me know what you think. I am interested. And most importantly, have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.